Hey guys, so today I'm back with another fun recipe, and if you're interested in knowing how to make this, keep on watching. So let's start first with the ingredients. You're gonna need 4 cups of all-purpose flour, 3/4 cups of full cream milk. You can use any other milk actually. You need a teaspoon and a half of cinnamon, a pinch of salt, 2 teaspoons of vanilla essence, 1 egg, 1 packet of yeast, a 1/4 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of warm water, and you need about 2/4 cups of butter. It might be more, it might be less, you'll see as we go through the recipe. Just make sure you have the butter always. So to get started, you need to activate your yeast, and to do this you need to add 1 teaspoon of sugar to the warm water and give it a nice gentle mix, and then go ahead and add the yeast and set that aside. And in a large bowl, add your 1 egg. You go ahead and you add your 1/4 cup of melted butter, and then you add 3/4 cups of milk. I use full cream just to be specific, but you can use any other milk if you prefer. And then you go ahead and you add a 1/4 cup of sugar. I'm using here brown sugar. I'm pretty sure every other sugar will work except the icing. And then you go ahead and give it a gentle mix just to make sure they incorporate it together. I'm using a handheld electric mixer because homegirl was a tad bit lazy. Then go ahead and add 2 teaspoons of vanilla essence to that mixture, and then give it a nice gentle mix as well. Once everything is all mixed together, it's now time to add the flour. You're going to do this 2 cups at a time, and the first time you're going to go ahead and add as well that yeast mixture that you set aside earlier on. Go ahead and add that on. It looks disgusting, but trust me, it will work. And then go ahead and mix this just until it's a little bit incorporated. Just make sure it's not like completely mixed together, but then you still need to add the other 2 cups of flour. Then go ahead and add the other 2 cups of flour once everything is kind of incorporated together, and then you go ahead and you mix it. Now let me tell you, this is where the hard work begins, because you have to make sure that this dough is literally like all mixed together. I swear you guys, I mixed this so hard until my handheld mixer actually broke. So I don't have a handheld mixer right now as I'm talking to you guys, but I realized that the dough was a tad bit dry, so I went ahead and I added a 1/4 cup of warm milk just to give it a little bit of life, and then I mixed this like this on medium speed for about 5 minutes before my handheld mixer broke on me. Once your dough is all mixed together and it's feeling nice and soft, pretty much just take it out of the bowl and put it on the table. Then in that bowl, just lightly oil it just to make sure the dough doesn't stick to it, and then put it back in. I like to roll mine around just a little bit to make sure the oil is around the dough everywhere, just to make sure it doesn't dry up. And then cover that up and take it outside, or put it in a nice warm place where it can double in size to rise. I like to take mine outside, so that's what I'm doing right here. I just took it outside because it's nice and quicker and it doesn't take all that much time. While we wait for the dough to work its magic, I went ahead and I mixed 4 tablespoons of sugar with a teaspoon and a half of cinnamon, and I just set that aside. We're going to use it once the dough is all ready, so just put that aside and don't forget about it. It's been about an hour later and my dough has more than doubled in size, which is beautiful. It is nice and fluffy. So what you need to do is to lightly flour your table surface or whatever surface that you're going to be using, and then go ahead and transfer that flour onto that table surface. The flour is to just make sure it doesn't stick, and then you could either use a rolling pin here, but the flour was like magically soft, so I literally used my hands to roll it out like this. I was in awe the whole time, but that's what I did. And then I went ahead and I covered the dough with a little bit of butter. Remember when I said you're gonna need quite a bit of butter? This is what I meant. So this is at room temperature to make sure that it goes out smoothly, but I just covered it out with butter. This will help make the dough very, very soft. I went ahead and I grabbed that sugar and cinnamon mixture, and I sprinkled all over the dough covered with butter. When that is done, go ahead and sprinkle some raisins on top, or whatever fruits you want to use. To be honest, this was a last minute decision. I went ahead and I threw them in. I wasn't planning on doing it, but I found them and I was like, hey, what the hell not? When you are done sprinkling your fruit or whatever it is you're using, maybe cake mix even, go ahead and start rolling your dough. Now I made sure that my hands are lightly dabbed in flour, and I did this every other couple of seconds just to make sure that my hands don't stick to the dough, so you might want to do that as well. Then go ahead and cut up your dough into, this came out to about 16 little pieces, but you can get more if you want them to be like nice and thin, or you can get less if you want them to be like nice and thick. Then in a well-greased pan, go ahead and start putting in your cut out pieces, the cut side up, just to make sure that you get that nice roll at the end of it. And then I had a tad bit extra, so I ended up using my muffin pan just to make sure that I don't throw away any dough. I'm stingy like that, and you know what, little secret, it's actually nicer when you make them in a muffin pan. But this is what it looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and take this outside for a couple more minutes, let them rise again. Be sure to cover them up as well, because you don't want your dough to dry out. While that happens, I went ahead and I preheated my oven to 180 degrees and I set it to 40 minutes, though they're gonna bake for 30 minutes. About 30 minutes later, and they're all ready to bake. Look how they have also doubled in size. Like, this is just amazing. Now the Chelsea buns are at the oven and they are sitting aside cooling off actually, so I decided to go on ahead and start making up the glaze. For this you're gonna need 2 tablespoons of butter, as well as 5 tablespoons of icing sugar, and then some warm milk. Now I'm not going to tell you how much milk you're going to need. This is all based on how you want your consistency to be regarding your glaze. I wanted mine to be pretty runny, so I ended up using about 6 or 7 spoons of milk here. This is exactly the consistency that I was looking for, and I was pretty happy with it. Oh my gosh, you guys, don't these just look magical? This is just amazing. I could not stop smiling when I saw this, and my house was smelling incredible. But it's now time to go ahead and throw over the glaze on them. To be honest, there's no really method on how you want to do this. Go on ahead and do it whichever way you prefer. I just did random lines in between just to make sure that the icing will be everywhere, because I'm all about icing. I like myself some sugar, so I went on ahead and I did that. So when all was said and done, this is what they looked like, you guys. This was pretty incredible, and for the biggest moment was the taste testing. It was incredible. They were super soft, super amazing. I swear we moved from having 12 to 6 in a matter of 5 minutes because they were so yummy. But go ahead and give this recipe a try. I'm sure you guys are gonna enjoy it. Just bear in mind this takes almost forever in a year, but it's totally worth it. So please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching. I'm sorry my fan kept going crazy during these voiceovers, but I'll see you guys later.